Ambassador Dagzai knows that much better than I do. He's handled bilateral relationships for a longer period, and more recently, mine was well in the past. But I agree with so many points that he's. But before that, let me just quickly say, when it comes to legitimacy, like he didn't want to comment on our government, I should also not do that on the government of Kabul. But our own government at this time, God knows how legitimacy should determine. The fact is, it is their result of a very highly rigged election. The man who lost and who was more popular, I may not be a very great fan of him, but that's not the point. The point is that people want him, 60 to 70%. So actually, he had the right to. How he would have handled Afghanistan, that I don't know. But legitimacy in that sense, in the people sense, does not belong to the present government. And in any case, the surviving on the shoulders of the tanks. The second point is a very good one, Jirga. I remember when I used to be in and out of Afghanistan in the early 2000s. Ustad Saif, an old colleague with whom one used to deal because he was one of the party, and he was one of the most clever people. People didn't like him, especially from Pakistan, for reasons that I do not know. But for me, he was a very good intellectual, always talked sense. And he is the one who said, if we have a standing council, FPAC standing council, to look after these things, that would be the best one. So this is, I agree completely, some sort of a combined council, call it Jirga if you like, to take care of this. People who know Jirga, we have already considered that people picking the sea and air do not know enough. When I was handling Afghanistan, I was new in the job. I learned much more after retirement, after studying, after meeting people. But at that time, depended on what the team told. And if the team was pro one and against someone else, the policy could be flawless. So people who know, and God knows this is a very difficult criterion to meet, especially when it comes to Afghan hands in Pakistan, because as I said, even after 30 years or more than 30 years of dealing with it, I do not claim any expertise. I always get surprised by one thing or the other that the Afghans do, and I always get reminded of Churchill's famous saying, if anyone thinks that what Afghans were going to nest, that one knows about it, one should get one's head government. Because over a period of time, they have learned, the Afghans have learned because of their history, not to be predictable and sometimes not to be truthful. Because they play one against the other, and that is the way they have survived over a period of time. So, to find the right type of Afghan hands is going to be very difficult. Afghanistan will, or Kabul will have it a little easier because you're right. People like Muttaqi who know this place, who understand this language, are great friends and are great assets. And they would know. They may have their biases, and that has to be balanced out because of a council, 10 or 15 people there. But ultimately, they would keep the two bilateral relationship on a very comfortable, on a very stable key. It will not break out, it will not change the paradigm suddenly, but over a period of time, I think they will achieve the objective that my predecessors like Aslam Khatak had in mind, to create some sort of a regional.